COVID. We've just received reports that Luang Prabang has gone into an emergency lockdown. That happened at 12 o'clock this afternoon. The whole of the town has gone into a lockdown. We have been out making a video, delivering vaccines and food to the temple cats and dogs today. So we've been out and we've just received this news. And we've just seen an ambulance go past now, all in the hazmats and everything. There's COVID in Luang Prabang. It is spreading and the government have decided to put it down, or to put us into another strict lockdown, and you cannot leave your house for anything other than medicine or food. We are trying to finish our job today. We are isolated, we have our vaccines, and we are just going to the temples that we have permission to go to. And we're helping out the cats and the dogs. We're vaccinating them from rabies, worms, all kinds of different things, and we're feeding them. So
they closed.
Oh, they've shut the temple. The temple has actually shut itself from COVID. I'm not sure if we're about to be allowed in or not. He's dropped his brush, he's going running up there. See here, the traffic is really quite low now. There's not very much traffic on the road. This is like the main part of the town. All the shops and everything is shut. You see the only thing there that was open was a small shop and a mechanic. Everything else is shut. So this is the end of my road, which is the village or the neighborhood that I'm living in. This is the entrance to my road basically, and as you can see, it's all barricaded. No vehicles can get through here. And you might be like, why have you barricaded the end of the road? Well, unfortunately, Luang Prabang, which is the city, the town that I live in here in northern Laos, has gone into lockdown again due to a recent rise in COVID cases. So I'm going to be discussing how this has affected Luang Prabang, the future of the lockdown, and how it's going to affect me, how it might affect you, and all these kinds of things. I'm also going to show you what Luang Prabang looks like during this lockdown. So to be honest with you, I'm walking down my road here. There would typically be lots and lots of traffic, but as you can see, there's no traffic. There can't be any traffic. Now, there are 3 entrances or exits, however you look at it, to this village, Vieng Mai, which is my little village. Now in Laos, even in the big cities, all of the cities are segmented into their old villages. So you can think of it as a neighborhood or a block, but before this was a city, this would have been a cluster of small hamlets that turned into villages. They all got their unique village name, and though they grew so big that they're then connected and ended up as a city, like here in Luang Prabang. So the way that they do it is they segment, or they block off all of the villages. They've kept that main road open, so there's a couple of main roads in Luang Prabang that they need to keep open, so that lorries and things like that can move through the country, because there's no train network here in Laos. So yeah, they need to keep some of the main roadways accessible. However, everyone has been told to stay in their house. Everyone has been told to stay in their homes. You can only leave your homes if you are going out for an emergency. You can go out 2 times a day per household, so that could be 1 person twice or 2 different people once. You can see here though that because our village has not got a main road. It's really shut off, it's really quiet, it's really peaceful, so we can walk around our village, and it's really interesting actually. It's really weird, like, I don't know, like, it's just cool to see all the kids like playing like how I used to play when I was a kid, out in the street with skateboards and balls and bicycles and things like that. We don't do that anymore in the UK. None of our kids do that anymore, you know. Sorry, I've got the sun glaring into my retinas here. It's one of the perils of being a YouTuber, always looking into the sun. Not good with my blue eyes. Anyway, what was I saying? This video isn't very structured, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's a bit of it's not a shock that this has happened. I've thought that this was gonna happen. I thought this was gonna happen for a while now. I'm surprised that it hasn't happened yet, to be honest with you. Yesterday, I was out with a woman called Laura, and we were going around all of the temples, and we were vaccinating the dogs and feeding these stray dogs and cats, just making sure that, you know, that they don't get rabies and stuff like this. That's a whole different video, and that will be coming out soon. Whilst I was doing that though, during the morning, it was about 11:30 or something like that, and across all of the tannoys, so yeah, in Laos, I don't think there's one here, but in Laos, all of the villages have tannoys set up around them, and that's so that the village chief, the Nai band, because here that's how it works, each village has a chief. In fact, they have 3. They have like the top one and then the second and third. So each of them will be relaying information to their community, their village. And yesterday, the whole of the city just lit up with sound. All their Nai bands were, you know, talking. I couldn't understand any of it, but what they said was that as of 12 o'clock, the whole of Luang Prabang is in lockdown. So that was 12 o'clock in the middle of the day. That's what all these locals were telling me. We were going around all the temples, and so we thought we better make our way back. And so we headed back and only did the temples that were on our way back. And some of the temples that we went to, they were shut already. They blockaded, just as you saw the end of our neighborhood, completely blockaded. And that was such a ominous sight to see the temples, the village temples, because each village has a temple. It was so weird to see them shut and barricading the people out, because obviously in times of hardship, many religious people, whether it's Christianity or whatever it is, Buddhism, whatever, many different people will turn onto their religion in times of hardship. So you can imagine people will want to go to the temples and stuff like this, and it's become that serious of an issue that they're not even allowing the temples to be open anymore, whereas they were before. So yeah, that's quite a difference. So there's now been over 26,000 cases of COVID in Laos to date. Now, today we had another death, and that brings the deaths to 24 deaths, which is something that I feel like I do need to talk about, you know. I feel like at some point the whole world is going to realize that we just have to learn to live with this COVID thing, just like we have with every other flu and every other virus. We've had to deal with it, we've had to learn to live with it. We're always going to get cases. It's a virus, you know, we're not going to kill it. I don't believe that's ever going to be the case. Something that you could say is that, you know, people can't afford oxygen and things like this when they do get ill from COVID. You know, any of those that are really ill, they can't afford it. You know, we're in a third world country. I hate saying it. Usually I'm like, it's a developing country, but no, look, it's a third world country. People don't have all the resources and money like they do in the UK, you know. So, and then you can look at it another way and you can say, well, actually there's only been 24 deaths from over 26,000 cases. So is it right to shut down a whole country or to shut down a whole city when many people are going to be affected by that? And so far, only 24 deaths out of 26,000 cases. It's something that I'm not going to give my opinion on, because I don't have an opinion. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I'm not the government, and I don't have the responsibility of other people's lives on me. However, what I will say is that I do believe pretty soon the whole world is just going to have to say, look, it's not going away. We need to carry on with our lives. We need to keep the economy going, you know. We need to just we need to just treat this as if it's the flu. You need to just take your vaccine and get on with your life, you know. That's very easy to say from me coming from a Western standpoint and coming from a standpoint where I have free I have a free healthcare service in my country. If anything goes wrong for me, I have state-of-the-art, the best healthcare in the world, free at the point of use. It's completely free for me. You know, I pay taxes and stuff like that, but it's completely free. Here it is not. Here, even some of the hospitals don't have enough money to buy equipment that could very easily save lives. I can't go into it, but even I know of people that have lost family members, you know, people that are close to me that have lost family members in Laos because of simple things like the hospital not having enough equipment or having any equipment. It's different here. So I kind of go from thinking that this is over the top, you know, based on the fact there's only 24 cases, sorry, 24 deaths from 26,000 cases. Is it over the top? I don't know, because, you know, no one can, not no one, but many people here cannot afford the hospital treatment. They don't get it for free like I do. Hey, going for your little walk? Yeah. Yeah, this is another dude from my guest house, so I guess he's decided to go on a little walk around the village, because we're all stuck. Whether it's right or wrong, it's happening, and this is the worst wave of cases in Laos so far. So I'm not surprised that they've locked Luang Prabang down, because there was less cases before and they locked it down, and now there's a lot more community spread. You know, a lot is a relative term. The amount of cases in Laos compared to in the UK or in many countries that I've looked at, very low. So it's a hard one. I would not like to be any government official in any of the countries during this COVID pandemic. I wouldn't want to be one anyway, but I certainly wouldn't want to be one now. So how's it affecting the locals? Well, basically, almost all of the shops are shut. You're only allowed to stay open if you are a delivery food service, if you are a very small shop or a supermarket with authorization to open, and the fresh markets. So basically, you can still go out and buy your food, you know, your fresh produce, your water, your rice, all these kinds of things. But your phone shops aren't open, your restaurants aren't open, your bars aren't open, you know, the builders aren't open, you know, no one's going to work if it's not an essential service. I went into the bank today and they checked my temperature. They had a little automated machine that squirted soap at you, which didn't work, so I had to use the normal bottle hand sanitizer. That was certainly a waste of resources. But yeah, there was no one in the bank. It was me and 2 other people, and every other time I go in there, there's like 20 different people in the bank. So yeah, people are staying at home, which is pretty cool. They're staying in their villages. As you can see here, there's plenty of people around it in the village area. This street is our street. But yeah, everyone's chilling out. It's all just people that live in these houses. And yeah, the whole village is just completely blocked off. It's kind of nice. There's a bit more of a community feeling. Everyone's kind of been forced to come out onto the street, stretch their legs, and yeah, come out and see everyone. Anyway, I'm going to show you what it looks like in Luang Prabang. I had a little drive around as I had to get some of my stomach medicines today. Not too much footage, I didn't want to drive around too much, but yeah, basically just stuck the camera on my helmet, and yeah, check it out, it looks like a ghost town. You can see here though all the villages are shut in. You can see here that they put string all along the sides of the road. The only things that are open really are necessities like shops. So they're blocking off all the villages here. Usually there'd be street food all along here, and there's nothing. See, all the villages are shut, you can't go in.